Hello and welcome to today's webinar for Veeam Backup, and which is pretty much focused on Veeam ONE. It's a complete one-stop solution for entire monitoring, reporting, and capacity planning of your virtual environment. Let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Rahul Shinde, and I work as a systems engineer with Veeam Softwares. Uh, Before we proceed further, just a few guidelines that I usually give to all of my attendees is all of you are um, in the muted state right now just to avoid any background noise. So if you guys have any questions, please make use of your chat window. And if there's any question that you want to ask me, we will be spending a few minutes at the end of the session for the Q&A. So please ensure you ask all your questions, and I'll try my best to answer all of your questions at the end of the session. Okay. And one last quick thing is, can you just guys click on the hand icon in the panel? So just to make sure or show me that you guys can hear me properly. Okay, looks good. So there are a few hands I'm still waiting for. Okay, so for the one who haven't raised their hands, I hope you guys can hear me, and I think it's a good time to go ahead and start the session. So to start the session with, let me first come back to a point where rather the problems which we normally encounter as being a backup admin or virtual administrator for your virtual environment. So the most common case that people come across is like my data store or my storage is out of free space. I didn't even know that it's running out of space, or there are a few backup media which I probably couldn't recognize, and since due to that I don't have backups available there, or there is a kind of a leftover snapshot sitting there for a long time, or maybe you cannot delete a snapshot due to some unknown errors. So you probably call support, and I mean these are the few common scenarios which we've been looking at when there's a case raised with the tech support. Additional problems or attached problems along with the same issues are probably there are no tools for planning the virtual environment, which increases the workload on your virtual infrastructure. Now, that is completely difficult to forecast if you don't have any proper application to monitor your virtual environment. Now, since there's no proactive analysis tools, there's no way of forecasting the performance or the bottlenecks of your virtual environment as well. So everything is like going for a toss here. Again, there's a lack of automated control over the virtual machine life cycle, which again gives rise to uncontrolled growth of your virtual environment. And again, there's no way of making sure that the allocated resources are being used properly by each and every virtual machine or by each and every resources. So overall, there's no way of planning out or looking inside your virtual environment and ensuring that you have been using all of your resources efficiently. So just to overcome these common problems, we came up with a software that's called Veeam ONE. Okay, now Veeam ONE is a complete you can call it a monitoring, reporting, capacity planning tool for your complete virtual infrastructure. Okay, we call it as powerful, easy to use, and affordable. The reason it's powerful is because it's a single solution built from proven technologies. Now, there are different components within Veeam ONE, such as Veeam Monitor, Veeam Reporter, and Veeam Business View. It's again easy to use because monitoring and reporting that works right out of the box. Again, ease of use we call it as because it's a completely agentless solution. So you don't have to deploy any agent on top of your virtual machine or on your ESX host. That again reduces the complexity of setting up your monitoring software, and again that lowers your costs as well, since you don't have any agents to be purchased, to be deployed, and things like that. And eventually it's affordable because it's a comprehensive solution with all the features at a competitive per socket pricing. So if your host has 2 sockets, all you need is 2 licenses. That's it. So there is like few lines written by one of our clients that's He is a technical director from Norris Network, and they have been using Veeam ONE since a long time, and they're pretty happy using it, which gives you a complete, at a glance view of their virtual environment to know that what things are happening inside their virtual environment. Okay, so moving forward, this is what you have, or this is how the Veeam ONE would look like. Now, Veeam ONE can be installed on a physical machine or a virtual machine which is running Windows OS. Okay, it has to be probably a Windows Server family, and so basically Veeam ONE provides virtualization administrator with a single, easy-to-use and powerful solution for 24/7 real-time monitoring and resource optimization, documentation, and management reporting of all multiple host management servers as well as failover clusters. Veeam ONE at today's date, it's been used by more than 60,000 virtualization professionals, and it is framework independent solution which is ideally best suited for SMBs. Okay, so this is about a quick overview of Veeam ONE. Now, let's take a look. Why do we call it a powerful tool? Now, it is integrated solution built from Veeam Monitor, Veeam Reporter, and Veeam Business View, which gives you complete and immediate visibility, like giving automated discovery of entire virtual infrastructure. So let's say you have added a bunch of virtual machines. You don't have to do anything manually. Everything is automated, so entire discovery of your virtual infrastructure is done by Veeam ONE. It also gives you at a glance view of health and performance of your virtual infrastructure in terms of resources, virtual machine utilization, your backup status, your repository status, everything. It also gives you technical, business-oriented views. We will be talking in depth about what is the business view. I will be spending a few minutes explaining what exactly is a business view in the later part of the presentation. Apart from that, you also get built-in intelligence, which has 200 plus pre-built alarms with best practice thresholds. Okay, so let's say there is a particular event which you would like to trigger. So there are a few thresholds already present, or few triggers which are already designed in the form of a pre-built alarms. So when that particular level reaches it, it just shoots an alarm, and you will be notified with this, with maybe a particular problem or a warning or success, anything. It can be anything. Again, it has extensive knowledge base, graphs with logical grouping of related performance metrics. Now, extensive knowledge base is Veeam ONE is powerful in the sense, like, let's assume if there's a failure, if let's say there is some problem with your data store, or there is a failure of any of your virtual machine. So when it reports a failure, it also gives you the name of your machine, the error, and the best part is it also links a knowledge base article along with it. So all you have to do is just go to the Veeam reporter, which is a reporting utility. Just go to the error message, click on the knowledge base article, and it takes you to the relevant articles which can help you resolve your problem. So everything's present right at your fingertips. There's nothing you need to go and find on Veeam knowledge base articles separately. Okay, so everything is like integrated into itself, which gives you you just don't have to go anywhere. Just sitting at the one place, you can do everything. Okay, so let's go on further. What you get inside is a monitoring reporting software. Now, basically, data protection plan that includes image-based backup has many benefits, like near continuous data protection, speed, decreased storage requirements, and a lot more. So sometimes, however, such a plan results in snapshot not being removed when that should be. So this can cause your performance degradation and even unexpected shutdown of applications or virtual machines. Just for an example, an Exchange server running inside a virtual machine. So Veeam ONE basically helps you avoid such issues by providing few pre-built alarms that can alert you when a snapshot in your virtual environment has exceeded a particular age or threshold size. So again, the entire monitoring reporting is done by agentless data collection. So as you can see on the screen, it has a dashboard which gives you at a glance view on and single click drill down to object details, performance charts, and knowledge base. Now, guest process monitoring and OS process management is also possible when, as I mentioned earlier, if there's a warning, if there's an error, you just need to go to that reporter or Veeam monitor, just click on the error and it will point to your knowledge base article. You also get alerting like you have configurable alarms threshold, alarm filters, custom alarms, and alarm modeling. So apart from 200 predefined pre-built alarms, there's also an option if you want to create a customized reports, let's say memory utilization of a virtual machine or memory IOPS of anything. It could be a virtual machine, so or storage. So even you can pull that single reports depending, you just have to create custom reports, select a particular metrics, and just pull a report for that. So it can generate custom reports as well for you. And also gives you a complete knowledge base article for every pre-built alarm. So if you're making use of the pre-built alarm, you also get a knowledge base article attached with every pre-built alarm just to make your life simple and easy. So that you don't go to Veeam.com and just try and enter some keywords and find a knowledge base article. Everything is right at your fingertips. It also automatically generates comprehensive reports and visual diagram for VMware environment and all its components and settings. Let's say, for example, an operational report. So when your data is gathered, a reporter helps meet SLAs by understanding where vMotion will fail before it actually fails. Now, virtual machines having red indicators are the virtual machines that are not eligible for vMotion. And when you drill down, it will explain you why, which provides vMotion issue description. Okay, so this is like you get a comprehensive report which gives you detailed, in-depth information of what things are happening in your virtual environment. vSphere and Hyper-V monitoring, it's a single tool which can monitor both. So Veeam ONE, a standard for virtual management, which has intelligent real-time 24/7 monitoring, change tracking, management reporting, and documentation. Okay. Data protection is under control. So apart from monitoring, it's just not a monitoring tool for your virtual environment, but it also ensures or also informs you about your backup status, your repository status, your virtual machines, the growing virtual machines, or probably the ideal virtual machines which are not being used in your environment. So it's a complete package which not just tells you about your virtual environment, but also monitors and guides you with our proper references as well. Okay, so now Veeam ONE tools. So like I've been talking before, Veeam ONE has three components. First is a Veeam monitor, which is ideally used for monitoring and notifications of your monitors. And second is a reporter. Now Veeam reporter is a reporting used for reporting and capacity planning of your virtual environment. And the third one is the business view, okay, which is basically a business view for your entire infrastructure. Now, business view as a part of integrated Veeam ONE solution allows you to categorize your virtual environment and display the virtual infrastructure topology from business standpoint. So with Veeam ONE Business View, you can gain business insight across numerous vCenters and ESX hosts running inside your virtual environment. While the VMware vSphere client offers a set of views presenting virtual infrastructure hierarchy from a technical perspective in terms of virtual machine, templates, data stores, network, storage, and so on, Veeam ONE Business View built a different categorization model. It basically presents data about virtual machines, host, storage, and clusters in business terms, as they are categorized in your virtual infrastructure. So such insight from the entire enterprise perspective enables you to control, analyze, and plan constantly developing and changing virtual environment. Okay. Talking more about business view, there are uh, business view features the following options and functionality. So basically, supports for heterogeneous virtual environment. Veeam ONE Business View is designed for professionals uh, using VMware vSphere and Microsoft Hyper-V environment. Now, business categorization capabilities of vSphere and Hyper-V are able, or rather would be possible from a single one business view console. Uh, in terms of vCenter server compatibility, it is fully integrated with VMware Virtual Center 2.5, Server 4.x, and vCenter Server 5.x. In terms of categorization model, Veeam ONE Business View uses a custom attribute features of vCenter Server. Now, vCenter Server custom attributes are actually mapped to Veeam ONE Business View categories, and if required, you can very well configure the Veeam ONE Business View to write categorization values from Veeam ONE Business View to custom attributes of virtual machines. Now, you can also integrate the Veeam ONE Business View with third-party applications that read custom attribute values from the vCenter server. The next feature, I would say, is ES6 server compatibility. Now, again, Veeam ONE Business View is fully compatible with starting from ES6 3.5, 4.x, 5.x, everything. Veeam ONE Business View not only supports work with vCenter servers, you can also collect inventory data from standalone ES6 host and use the collected information for categorizing your virtual machines and storage. It also gives you multi-user access, which means that Veeam ONE Business View supports multi-user access, allowing administrators, system integrators, or probably stakeholders to view your virtual environment data and analyze the virtual environment from business point of view. Talking about categorization model, in order to build a logical business presentation of your virtual infrastructure, Veeam ONE Business View uses categories of virtual machines, the host, storage, clusters that basically acts as a basic point for data analysis. So with the help of these categories, Veeam ONE Business View represents the virtual infrastructure from the business perspective. Okay, so this is like the most important component about the business view. So here are a few sample infrastructure reports that we have generated and presented on the slide as well, which tells you how is the storage used, will you need to upgrade the hardware next year using the forecasting of Veeam ONE. Now, which virtual machines are not backed up? Are new virtual machines ready for backup? So which means that if I got a storage or like a NAS box, I need to know, or I need to get a detailed view or a detailed information of how exactly it has been used, or how it has been designed for setting up my virtual machine backups, or depending on my current infrastructure and current load on the infrastructure, Veeam ONE can idly forecast and tell you if you need to upgrade your hardware, or if you need to upgrade or increase your storage for the next year. So again, a proper forecasting can be done using Veeam ONE, which basically helps you, reduce the runtime for the last minute. Apart from that, which virtual machines have not been backed up? So it might happen like you have a bunch of virtual machines in your environment, and someone might create another couple of virtual machines, maybe for testing, but you need to know which other virtual machines which are not being backed up, and is it really necessary for me to go ahead and back these virtual machines? So you also can get this information using Veeam ONE, and it also basically does an automated inventory, so it tells you which virtual machines are ready for backup. If there's any new virtual machines added to my infrastructure, using automated inventories, it tells you like these are the few bunch of virtual machines which has been recently added and which are ready to backup. So you probably need to run a backup of these virtual machines. So this tells you a deeper view of your infrastructure. So these are a few sample reports. Again, there's a data store configuration reports which can tell you the utilization of your data store. So as you can see, the capacity, the free space, and provision space. Now, if you look at the last column, it says free space usage trend. So let's say you have 2 or 3 different storage, and one of your storage has been highly used by all of your virtual machines. So the free space usage trend will say increasing, which means that it is being used continuously as compared to the other 2. Okay, and out of the 3, let's say one is really not being heavily used. It says the free space usage its trend is decreasing, which means I get to know that this is a storage which is highly being used, and this is the one which is really not in use. Okay. Capacity planning for backup repositories. As you can see on the screen, it has a backup infrastructure, physical resources, capacity planning. So we got number of repositories at 2, number of jobs is 1, and virtual machine stores are 2. So it tells you the top 5 utilized repositories in terms of gigs. Okay, so they have 2 repositories. One is a default backup repository which gets installed once you install Veeam backup replication. And there's an additional repository which we have created as storage one. So the top 5 utilized repositories is the first one is the storage one repository, and the top 5 repositories by days left. So it tells you the default backup repositories looking at the current trend, which would be the top 5 repositories left by days left. These are few sample reports which gives you information about protected virtual machines and virtual machines backed up by multiple jobs. Okay, so as you look at on the screen, it tells you, the report gives you information about virtual machines with largest average transferred data. So it ideally tells you the virtual machine which has ideally transferred the most amount of data and the most processing or the largest processing time in terms of minutes. So there is a backup job 2 which is listed out there, and if you look at the down below the information of virtual machine overview, so there are total virtual machines 22, protected are 3, backed up 2, replicated 1, restore points 3 restore points are present, and unprotected are 19. So which means that 19 virtual machines have not been backed up, and ideally if they are really an important one, I need to go and add them back to the jobs. Okay, so it basically gives you a graphical representation in terms of protected virtual machines. We have virtual machine last backup state, which shows successful warning, and protected virtual machines and protected virtual machines. Another sample report for virtual machine change rate estimation. So as you can see on the screen, it tells you top 5 virtual machine with largest change rate. So my virtual machine, which says VC Dev, is the virtual machine with largest change rate happening on it. And top 5 with the least change rate. So there is a virtual machine that Win V2012-1. That's the least. That's a virtual machine having least data change rate. Okay. So you can probably click on that machine and get the entire information pulled out from there as well. Additional VMware feature, you get optimization reports wherein you can have information about over and undersized virtual machines, active snapshots, garbage files, idle virtual machines, and templates. So under oversized virtual machines, as you can see, this reports help you to discover virtual machines with undersized CPU and memory resources. So it tells you information, so you can probably make some changes and tweaks and tweaks for your virtual infrastructure and ensure you have a proper setup running for everyday backup. Timely response. Typical reaction to an emergency is like evacuation plan, wherein if something goes wrong, you probably try to pull the entire information post failure, and then you try to find a solution. Ideally, but But with Veeam ONE, you get an events notification if there's any problem. So there are like predefined alerts that are designed for giving you timely notifications. So it also gives you a description, a cause of a problem, and KBI article associated with having a possible solutions. So ideally, you don't have to go out and hunt for a resolution because you already have a notification of the problem and you already have a knowledge base ready with it. So everything is present right at your fingertips, and you can easily go and find a solution for your problem. In terms of notification options, you have configurable performance metrics thresholds for triggering notifications. So like I said, if you want to pull some custom reports, there are a few certain metrics based on which you can pull information or customize reports. And information from complete knowledge base is included in the predefined notification, or what you call as predefined alerts. Okay. Another thing I just probably missed is the capacity planning. With Veeam ONE, the capacity planning basically outlines the following details in terms of like storage capacity of your repository, the amount of free space available on the repository, or the number of days before the repository might run out of free space. Okay, so it basically has a forecasting of a value. Veeam ONE monitoring uses a trend that is calculated based on historical statistics. So the way it functions is it basically analyzes how fast the amount of free space on the repository was decreasing in the past, and ideally uses this historical statistics to forecast on how soon the repository will run out of space. Apart from that, capacity planning for backup repositories reports analyzes the amount of free space on a repository and estimates a projected date as and when the repository will run low on space. So the report provides recommendation on how to adjust the allocated storage resources in order to keep the required number of backup restore points as well. Okay. Now, summing up everything, the benefits which you get with Veeam ONE is you improved performance and availability, enhanced communication with stakeholders, simplify your virtualization management in terms of managing complexity. Since it's an agentless solution, there's no complexity, and you can just install Veeam ONE and start using it right off the box. Okay, so it just takes about 30 to 45 minutes for the installation, gathering the information, and you're right starting at that point. Optimize the use of virtualization team, so you get a deeper analysis or deeper view of your virtual infrastructure, so you can team be verified, be notified. Streamline compliance. It also maximizes the virtualization outcome in terms of agility, resource utilization, management efficiency, and cost savings as well. So overall, it's these are the benefits which you get with Veeam, and also being a very comprehensive and cost-effective solution for monitoring a virtual environment. Okay, now that's all from the presentation side. So, this is how I would like to end my presentations. This is my contact details over on the screen. So if you have any questions, now this is a time where we can spend a few minutes for the Q&A session. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just write down your questions in the chat window, and I'll try my best to answer all of your questions. Okay, guys, we're gonna spend a few minutes for the Q&A. So if you have any questions in your mind, please just write it down in the chat window, or just put it in the chat window and just pop it up so I can answer your questions. If you don't have any questions right now, there is my contact details up on the screen. So if you have any questions later on regarding any Veeam products, it could be Veeam Backup Replication, Veeam ONE, management pack, anything, just go ahead and drop me a mail anytime. I'll try my best to answer all of your queries, and we'll try to help you out. I'm just waiting for any questions, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to come up with your questions. Okay, guys, I don't see any questions there. I don't see any questions up there, so probably we'll be spending a couple more minutes to see if there's any questions coming in. If you don't have any questions, I would assume that everything is okay at this point, as of this point. But if you have any questions, you can very well reach out to me anytime. Okay, guys, I don't see any questions coming up there. So, well, once again, thank you to everyone who have attended this session and probably spending 30 minutes of the time for this valuable session. Hope to work with you guys very closely very soon. I'll also recommend you to download the trial version of Veeam ONE. It's a 30 days full functional trial, which you can use it and try it in-house to see how exactly it works, and can pull some reports. If you have any questions, any problems while working with it, you can reach out to me anytime. Just make note of my email address. It's rahul.shinde@veeam.com. Okay. So once again, thank you guys, and thanks for taking time for today's session. Hope you all have, wish you all have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.